Alright guys, my name is Burn. Real name is Byron McLagan. I like to go by Burn, that's the stage name. I'm the music producer and the occult specialist for Through the Realm. We're a paranormal investigation team. The way I pretty much came about meeting these guys was I had a good friend named Matt who told me that there was someone running a YouTube channel. I really didn't get any more information besides that, but they needed a theme song done for them. So I went ahead and I had to pry the information out of him, but he finally gave me Mr. Ben's number, and as soon as I got his number, I started work on a theme song for these guys. After that, I was introduced to Miguel, I was introduced to Jonathan. We all got along really good. I've been out on one investigation at this point with them, but I plan on going on some more with them. But they eventually said, hey, do you want to go ahead and just be part of the crew? So I take care of the occult specialist part of this, and that really details what the investigation we're going on is about. If it's about poltergeist activity, if it's about abductee stories, if it's about just apparitions, anything like that, I'm going to go through all the information I possibly can and make sure that we're not walking into a hoax. I want to make sure that the people we're dealing with are of sound mind. We're not dealing with mental illness situations. Being a patient myself, I do know the differences. But if the pros outweigh the cons, then that's definitely something I believe we should look into investigating. But other than that, working with the music, really just trying to nail down that theme song that just hits it. Other than that, I'm working on a lot of background music for them, some jump scare type sounds, a lot of just ominous ambient bass lines going through the background. But I do have to say that I'm very happy to be part of the team, and I look forward to meeting more of these guys and also going on more investigations here in the future.
What will be special about your music? What is the difference that you are trying to make with your music?
Really, it's more of an artistic difference than anything. As I said before, being a mental illness patient, I have always had a feeling of wanting to change people's lives via art, via music, and somehow for the positive way. But this has really come to a point where we're doing a big art project where we're incorporating horror, shock rock, and trance into a psychedelic style. And I'm working with a few different guys right now, collaborating on the music with them, and we're pretty much coming up with something that we're going to call horrorcore trance. That's really the biggest difference between us and other artists, is that we have a completely new genre we're willing to try out. Now, I do work with another group, it's named Non-Servium. That is more of an agrotech, industrial, just heavy, gritty, nasty sounds. But what I do personally is a lot more trancier, but once I start getting all the samples and all that stuff together, you start to really get this horror vibe from the chords and the arpeggios that I decide to use for the song. Yeah, it's really something I've never seen done before. I know a few guys like DJ Zardonic, Hallucinator. These guys are drum and bass artists who go out there wearing masks and full gear, and they do this, but it's not the same style of music. So the real main difference I want to make with my music is to try and start a new genre, which, to be honest, I think that's what every musician wants to do, and I think a lot of us fail. But I think this has some good potential, especially with the resurgence of psytrance in the United States. We're hoping to see some positive outcomes with that.
What would you say to people that say your message is dark or too dark, or who are you addressing your music?
If someone were to ask me that, I would probably bring in the whole yin yang situation. There is no darkness without the light, there is no light without the darkness. Someone has to do the job, and if that job lands on me, then so be it. I've always been inspired and definitely drawn to occult pictures, imagery, the sigils, demonology, just the way that Christianity and your Judeo-Christian priests and ministers would describe hell or the abyss or anything like that. That's always been a major inspiration for me. So for anyone who said that it was, too dark or why is it dark, I guess my question is more why not. It's something that's been done for well over 50 years now. Starting early on with bands like Venom, Mayhem, Burzum, and it's branched out into many different facets of music. And that's all I'm really doing is just taking a whack at trying to bring that darkness into the trance world.
Have you ever had any experience with the paranormal?
Yes, I have. As a matter of fact, I don't like to talk about it too much, honestly, because it sounds very unbelievable. But I do have two eyewitnesses for both accounts that happened. One was actually in this very room that we're sitting in here. Me and my ex-fiance were sleeping, and she woke me up to the door, just completely rattling in its door jamb, and started tapping me and asking me what was going on. And I woke up and I saw it, and I walked over to the door, opened it, and there was nothing there. That was really the end of that. It was pretty freaky, but it was something we got over with, and we never really talked too much about after that. Now I do have family just about 2 or 3 hours north of Houston in Lufkin, where they have a lot of acreage of land where they hunt deer and all that kind of stuff. And there was a night that me and my brother and his girlfriend, this was probably back when I was 13 years old, sat in the bed of the truck, and we watched these orange lights appear in the distance over the treetops, and little by little these orange dots would start to rise and keep rising, and they'd come out about 3 to 4 at a time, and then they just start to disappear, and then they'd start to light back up again, rising in the air. It was quite the experience, but it's nice to have people that were there that validate it, but at the same time, it's definitely one of those things that you don't bring up at a company meeting because you're not trying to have everybody think that you're just some crazy wacko.
So you gonna be making some music through the realm. Do you have anything that you can release on this interview or in the future?
At the moment, I am working on a background music song where I started to mess with the velocities of what sounds like a sitar. I don't know how well the sound's going to come through on the camera, but I can definitely pull something up there. Let me you know, playing in the background while our guys are sweeping room to room. Something like that. And I think the other one doesn't get enough play time. The one I think deserves it.
What would you say your character represent?
Definitely, as you said, it represents darkness. Much as my mentors, I think a lot of people's inspiration for wearing masks, the band Slipknot, they very much created their mask and their whole image out of what they feel inside, what they see inside their head. My idea of dark to be completely different than what your idea of dark is, and you know, vice versa. It's pretty much, this is me putting my heart on my sleeve for people to see, and hopefully it gives a nice positive message to it.
That's really important that you mentioned that, because some people will be like, this is too dark, you only put in negative stuff out there. But like you mentioned, what is dark for you, it might be a different meaning for me.
Definitely.
So you are actually sending positive vibes and positiveness to people, which is good.
Yes.
Through your music.
Yeah, yes sir. That's exactly, you know, you'll hear every Slipknot fan say it ever. They'll say Slipknot saved my life. And it's because they were going through a hard time whenever they were young teenagers. And then here came this band that was just so full of hatred and full of anger, and they didn't know what else to do with it, and they just put it into their music, and it came out extremely dark and extremely brutal, but that's how people felt. And I'm not saying everybody feels bad, but we're not exactly living in the best times right now. So I think it's good to give people a creative outlet in which to express their darkness, and which to embrace it, because until you embrace the things you hate in life, you'll never truly understand those things.
Also, I know that your character is gonna be turning to a comic book character, which is gonna be hunting down the character for the through the realm. So that's actually like your character chasing darkness,
Yeah.
to hunt it down.
Yeah, that's definitely, I mean, when that idea got thrown out there, I was like, wow, I didn't even think about that. But yeah, it makes me feel like a little bit of a vampire hunter in that sense, you know?
Yeah.
You know, that was definitely, I think we didn't come up with that too long ago, and I thought that was a pretty wonderful idea, especially if, like you said, if you're doing the comic book character stuff with it. I really cannot wait to see where that's heading, and I look forward to seeing it.
So, what would you say to people about Through the Realm? Why you think it's like a cool project and different from other paranormal groups?
Well, as scouring the internet, mainly scouring YouTube, you can go watch all the paranormal videos you want, and you can kind of call them out on the bullshit. There's a lot of people that will do things like they're in a graveyard and you'll hear some people way off in the distance screaming at them, but it's pitch black and no one can see anything, and it's very obviously set up and hoaxed. And what I think that sets Through the Realm apart is we're not interested in anything like that. Our cameramen, our editors, they are interested in finding real evidence of paranormal activity. Like I said, whether it be from an extraterrestrial to a poltergeist to anything from a different dimension. You know, we're not just going to sit around and feed you spoons of bullshit. We're going to go ahead, and if there's something that really happened, which, let's face it, there is, we're going to show you the real truth.
Thank you for giving us this time, Byron. Definitely will tell everybody to go and check your Instagram. This guy is super talented. Please, everybody go check his music, his Instagram. Real talent right here.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.